you have this fight and you call the police, which some people may have an opinion about,
Mm-hmm.
based on, we have this stigma, especially in the black community, that, black men go to jail so often. And I'll be honest, I talk about a lot, and, I'm not saying you have to agree with me here. We talk about police brutality and a lot of different things, but I was curious who called the police on these black men. Typically it is their wife or their woman that calls the police on them, and hoping that they get taken away, and hoping that the police get roughed them up a little bit. But then the people who, one of the backlash you receive whenever you do talk about black women, they'll tell you, well, we ain't gonna be marching for y'all. When you die by the police, we ain't gonna march for you. I'm like, well, typically the people who call for the called on that black man is a black woman. Now, like I said, you don't have to have a response on that, but do you have a response to what I just said?
I do,
Okay.
because I feel like I don't want this. It's not like I live to call the police on my husband. I'm gonna call him my ex from now on. I'm so used to saying my husband.
I hear you.
Um, it's not like I live to call the police on him and I got joy out of it or something. I didn't get joy out of it. And, I don't want police pulling up in our neighborhood and our neighbors looking at us like we're ghetto and ratchet. That's the last thing. That's the last thing that I want, Mel.
Right.
But I felt at that, but he's so erratic. He does crazy things. So I can't just say can we just not deal can we not deal with this right now? Can we deal with this at a later time? When I talk normal to him, like it doesn't get anywhere. So, and when it got out of control, and now he going crazy. I done hit him and I'm in the wrong really, but I called the police to see if he can be escorted out because my sister was downstairs on hospice. And he wasn't going to leave. And it was just a hostile environment. So that's why I called the cops that time. Majority of the times I call the police is because he put his hands on me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be put. It's either that or I'm going to get your ass beat. So which one
Oh,
do you want?
I don't mean to laugh, but I just know that world so much. I just, my parents had a toxic relationship, and it was just like, can we just live in peace? That's just the way it is. It's just hope for peace, but ultimately, some people just you can't live in peace together, and I think
Hmm.
it takes a while for us to figure that out sometimes. But
Hmm.
you get arrested, you go to jail, and he figures out a way to make the situation even worse. Tell
Hmm.
us about the restraining order.
So I get arrested that night. Now I'm in jail. I'm crying. I'm like, oh gosh, please. The only thing I can say is like, please don't let my sister die while I'm in here. I want to be by her side. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, calm down. I'm talking to myself now. I started working out. I started doing squats. I started doing push-ups. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, just he's gonna calm down. Now I'm in jail. He's gonna feel sorry. He's gonna calm down. He's gonna know that what he did was wrong. He's gonna come and get me in the morning. We'll figure it out after all of this. After we deal with my sister. No, the next morning, Um, they called my name. An officer came to the cell, called my name. I'm thinking I'm about to get out. He was like, "You've been served." I'm like, "What? You can't go back to your house to order protection. You cannot harass your husband. You can't abuse him. You can't hit him. You can't do anything, right?" So I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, what about my sister?" That's the only thing I could think about was my sister. And my dad and my nephew father came and got me, and I got home, and he called the cops on me 10 minutes later. They were about to rearrest me and take me back to jail. And I wasn't going to get out if they would have arrested me because I was already out on my own
Bond.
recognizance. Yeah. So luckily, one of the officers was nice, and he went and called his supervisor, and he came back and he said, "It's your lucky day because your husband didn't fill the paperwork out right. He never checked off the box that you can't come back to the house."
Mm.
So that's how I was able to stay. But they were about to put. He told the police he want my parents out, he want my nephew out, he want my sister out, he wanted my nephew father out, he wanted everybody out except for our children, and that would have been devastating for
Wow.
me.
Yeah, for everyone as well. And that's kind of what I want to ask about next.
Hmm.
You say during the fighting you could have somebody jump on them, but I was thinking while they're hearing the story, well, what your dad and your nephew's dad thinking this whole time? So how was the family process in this?
My mother was really angry. She was trying to process the fact that my sister was passing away. It's just me and my sister. So everyone was really, that was the focus. But it's like we had to kind of focus on this situation too. Nobody is really trying to fight. My nephew father wasn't trying to fight because he actually came to move down here with us when we told him that my sister was going on hospice. He left Jersey and packed his bags and came down here, and he we allowed him to stay in our guest bedroom. So obviously he didn't want to fight my husband.
Right.
My dad is not like that, and my parents are in their mid 70s. So,
Oh, nice.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So everybody's just looking at him like, what is he doing?
Yeah. I hear you on that. And so many people are probably watching this and asking, girl, you were crazy for staying and things of that nature. You saying your parents are in their mid 70s, just a light bulb goes off. Sounds like you were raised in a traditional home. Would that be correct?
Yes,
So, and you said you wanted to model that. Were they encouraging it all during that time for you to work it out, or how was that?
they they were encouraging us to stay together until that situation happened, and they completely cut him off.
Hmm.
Because a lot of other situations happened. My dad, he would always say, you had kids with him, you're married, I gave you away to him, you guys work it out. That was my dad's take on it. He never got in between, never took sides. My mom, after a while, she was just like, punk, I don't think, she called me pumpkin. She said, Pumpkin, I don't think this is going to work. But this was after years of, cops being involved, and, my kids are getting older and started seeing things. And she would say she would never tell me to leave him, but she just was like, I don't think this is gonna work. You keep going back, you keep taking him back. I don't think it's gonna work. But when this situation happened with my sister, everyone cut him off.
Yeah. And I want to talk about that just a moment because your parents old school now. In the black community, we went through so much during our time in America. But one thing that got us through each thing was religion and family. We led the nation at one point in wedlock births, and we led the nation in marriage. And we're the exact opposite now. And in particular, I see a lot of people giving up on marriage easily. I'm be honest, 80% of women, not just black families, but 80% of women, 80% of divorces are filed by women, I should say. But what do you say to someone who, a woman, I should say, that's in this new dynamic and in our new era, that's going through issues, going through trials with their husband, and they're deciding, hey, should I leave? Should I go? They may not have the same endurance that you had. What do you say to someone that's in that process as we speak?
Well, you're definitely right about that. I think I tend to stay longer than I need to stay, than I should stay. But for me, once you're married, you're married. Unless it's um, abuse or adultery. Once you're married, you're married. You got to find a way to work it out. Counseling, prayer, maybe some time apart. You in one bedroom, I'm in another, so we can figure this out. Whatever you got to do, I don't know. I can only speak for myself, but I was willing to stick it out with my husband, definitely, until it got to this point, and that's why it took so much. I talk about a lot of things that he did, but even I stayed through abuse and adultery. I could have been left because those are grounds for a divorce, but it just got worse. The disrespect, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. And when you hear those little videos on social media talking about narcissism, it's true. It never gets better. It only gets worse.
Yeah.
But if you're not going through that, try to work it out.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Mel. Thank you for joining my channel. Thank you for checking things out here. Oftentimes, we go on people's pages and are like, man, what is going on here? What is the purpose of this channel? So let me be clear. The purpose of this channel is to speak truth regarding the nuclear family. And when I say truth, I'm not saying my truth, not your truth, but the Lord's truth. All about the word, all about the ways and the will of God. What does he have to say about the nuclear family? And I believe the generations of today, whether it be Gen X, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever the case may be, I believe now we have a very toxic relationship regarding marriage, regarding family, regarding having children. We're in a toxic dynamic as we speak. And honestly speaking, a lot of the answers that we're looking for in our community, a lot of the cures and a lot of the answers would come from a proper, fulfilled family home. If you go down the line of everyone's individual trauma, there you will find some negligence or some type of issue that they had with their parents. So here on this channel, we address those things head on. We don't place fear in those issues and avoid the topic. We do what Jesus did. And when he said, don't assume that I came for peace, but I came with a sword. I came to turn family members against family members if it means you following me. If you have to cut them off, if you have to address them and have arguments for you to follow me, so be it. And I think at this point in our society, we're at the so be it stage. So here at Life Coaching by Mel, I'm all about bringing healing to that. And the number one way to do that is have honest conversations. So if that's something you like, that's something you're into, that's something you really want to be a part of, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think about everything. I do my best to respond as often as I can. I want to hear from you guys. This is not about me. It's about healing our nation, healing our states, healing our cities, healing our community, healing our homes. Love you guys. Take care.
Let's go.